welcome to the Contingency Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master David, and with me as always is Darth Austin.
Hello, everyone.
You know, I gotta say, I think that we're no longer the sad batch. I think we're just, we're the good time batch.
We really should have thought of this beforehand. Come up with something more witty.
No. It all has to be off the top of the head. That's how it works. You either bomb or you get giggles or something. I don't know.
This is why we always bomb. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Well, folks, hopefully everything is going well in your world. Obviously, we are back with another, 2 to 3 hour episode here of the Contingency Plan. We are going to rumble on through Bad Batch, was episode 6, Decommissioned. I like how they're actually putting the names in here, unlike Mandalorian, where I actually had to start the episode to see the stupid name of the episode.
No chapter.
Oh, God, I hate
crap
that
either.
So dumb. We love Mando, but the chapter thing was kind of a little bit meh. And we will also be running through issues 4 and 5 of the High Republic comic series. Kind of want to get caught up on that. And it's still been reasonably quiet in the Star Wars universe, but I do think that we are due for another book at the end of the month, and then I think another book at the end of July. But I think that was the kids' book. We talked about it in our last episode, so yeah, we should be getting some more bumps in literature at least. Still bad batching, but. Yeah, nothing. I don't know. There's really not been much news or anything like that.
No, there's been a few things coming out, like some reveals for certain Lego characters being included in the game. I guess there was Finnick Chan, and then the actress commented on that. I guess that one looks pretty goofy, but I don't know why I'm still excited about that game.
Yeah, I was about to say, wasn't that supposed to have already been released?
I thought so.
I thought actually,
that was
one
let me
that
look
got
up
pushed.
what the release. Well, it was supposed to be Christmas.
Yeah,
and then it got pushed to January, and then it just kind of dropped off the face of the earth for a while.
Yeah, which is hilarious because there have been a lot of just in the gaming world, like pushbacks and delays and so forth. But you're literally talking about a Lego game.
Yeah, how hard is it? Like, how much polish does a Lego game need?
Well, the other thing is they're not. It's not a new game. It's the collection of games that have already happened. I mean, up res and just get it over with.
Yeah.
There's, I don't know. It should be interesting, but yeah, I mean, I think that those Lego games are they're mindless entertainment, and to be honest, sometimes that can be good.
Yeah. I mean, there's something funny about it. I always like what they did with some of the more serious scenes, like all the stuff in Phantom Menace was always pretty entertaining with Darth Maul.
Yeah, for sure.
It's looking like I don't know. I'm trying to look up the release date right now, and it almost looks like it's already available.
Well,
no, it's not. Never mind. It says release date not announced.
Well, see, there's the thing is I remember us talking about this a while back. And I think that there were a couple of release dates that we saw, and like one had already passed at the time, so it was like ultra confused. It's like Amazon had it listed weird or something like that.
There's reviews on it.
That's fun.
But this one's like there's 27 reviews, but it says even in the title name pre-order.
Yeah.
It's like, well, then how are you reviewing it?
Well, you have some people who get betas or like advanced copies, but E3 I think is next week. And I was watching a stream of talking about like some past E3s and stuff like that, and you see progressively how unprepared so many of even like AAA titles are.
Oh yeah,
and it's crazy. I get it. Like I get how these games can take literal years. I mean, how many people are still waiting on like the next Half-Life or even one that's popped up a lot has been like, why in the heck don't we have a new GTA? You know,
Yeah.
GTA 5 is
or Elder Scrolls, you know.
well, absolutely. Elder Scrolls as well. I mean, you had so much. Well, you had a lot of stuff prior to Skyrim too, but Skyrim was so huge, and people have been playing. When was that released? 2011.
Yes.
Okay, and then GTA's been around for almost 10 years too.
Yeah. It's hard to believe. It's like we're working on a decade for both of those almost.
Yeah, well, you know, Skyrim was extended by the extensive modding community, and GTA was kind of saved because of the role-playing community.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a modding community for them, but they just keep chugging along with GTA Online, and there's still releases for that all the time.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but I think what a lot of people are speculating on is getting like a remastered GTA 5 for PS5. It's like why would you put effort into that when you should be doing an entirely new GTA 6? Like just do it.
But Skyrim did that. I mean, you have your Switch release, you have your new console release, and people buy it. That's the problem. That's why they get away with it.
But the thing is, Skyrim's fun forever.
Yeah. I could go back to the 360 or PS3 version and still have a blast. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have your graphics upgrades, but core gameplay is the important part. But the only thing that sucks about both GTA and Skyrim is their studios have other massive games, like with
100%,
with Bethesda, you got Fallout, so you've got that to, like, you always have to wait in between for those, and then you've got Red Dead with Rockstar. So
yeah, and I'll say this, like Rockstar. I mean, we've known Rockstar for a long time. Rockstar,
table tennis, man, table tennis.
Well, the thing is, I think Rockstar needs to have a complete. This isn't a gaming podcast, but I think that they need to start like rethinking their game model. Like their model is, you know, that it's a false open world linear game.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't think that that's going to continue to cut it, because like even Red Dead 2, I don't think that had the longevity that they thought it would. And it was a good game. I even played a little bit of Red Dead 2. Not a ton, but a little bit. I did play Red Dead 1. But yeah, I don't know. I think Rockstar is not quite as big a rock star anymore.
I think they've kind of, and you could say the same thing about Bethesda, they've kind of fallen into this trap of like the Radiant encounters, which are super random and strewn throughout. So everyone's experience is a little different. It's like, well, that's cool on the surface, and I enjoy it. I do love Radiant encounters. Like, hey, I found this guy. I didn't. It's like, oh, it just randomly happened. I got lucky. But that's just not enough anymore to me. It's time to change the formula, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody I think a lot of people just, they like the true open world where I can complete this quest when I want to. I don't have to do that to, you know, obviously you have storylines in order to trigger, but how I get to that is my decision. Like if I want to get into this room by jumping on top of the building after parachuting, and then I can get through this window. No, you have to go through this door only after you talk to this guy. That doesn't work for people as much. But like, you know, in the converse, like with Skyrim, you get those same random encounters. Like there was one that just popped into my head. It was like the Red Eagle sword, which you got through reading a book.
Yeah.
You know, so you found that, and it wasn't like a great sword, but it was an interesting kind of like encounter after you read a book, the Book of the Red Eagle Sword. So there you go. I mean, those sort of little tidbits are why I think Skyrim is just and Oblivion. I mean, Oblivion still gets played now, which it's clunky and it's buggy as crap, but it's still played. So
did you ever get the Meridia's Beacon one in Skyrim? That was always one of my favorites. You'd find it in a random raider's chest.
Yep.
And then she'd start talking in your head and send you on the quest.
Yeah, was that the one for the shield or the sword that you got?
I believe it was I think it was a sword, like Dawnbreaker or something.
Dawnbreaker was I thought it was the coolest sword in that game personally.
Daedric swords though, they're pretty sweet.
Well, yeah.
For being basic, you know.
Well, any of the Daedric stuff was pretty cool. So anyway, yeah, we'll see what E3 brings. I think Star Wars wise, people are still jonesing for another. You know, I'm having a moment here.
Fallen
Order 2. Yeah, it literally clicked as soon as you said it. So thanks for the assist. But yeah, like a Fallen Order 2. Like,
yeah,
I think Jedi
everyone
Fallen
wants
Order
more Kestis.
Yeah.
By far.
Now, granted, you know, we talk about Fallen Order, and that was very story driven. So shut up, you don't know anything about games.
Well, but that was never really meant to be an open world game. It wasn't really advertised as one either.
Correct.
It was always meant to be linear.
Yeah. Now, I don't remember if you said this, but are you going to, or have you played or at least seen footage of the new Resident Evil?
I've watched a bit of footage on it. I still haven't decided if I'm going to try and get into it. It does look pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily interested in playing it, but I did watch some streams. And to be honest with you, I actually think that might be the perfect blend of linear storytelling with a kind of pseudo open world backtracking system. I thought that
almost like Metroid style.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think that, to be honest, I think that honestly is a great game.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the better ones that I've seen in some time.
My only thing is, I still feel like, yes, I could read a synopsis or watch a recap video or something, but I still feel like I need to play 7 to really enjoy Village. And I just don't want to. I don't like 7.
I really don't think you do. I don't think you have to at all. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I get where you're coming from, but I actually don't think you have to play 7 at all in order to really understand Village. I mean, granted, it's not really a backstory. It's a side story. It's kind of getting to know Ethan and wife. What is her name?
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank too.
Yeah, I literally can't. I remember the face that.
Is it Amy?
No, I don't think it's Amy.
Or Mia?
Mia, that's it.
Mia.
Yeah, Mia and Ethan, you know, I mean, it's really just getting to know Ethan, really, and then saving Mia, which coincidentally, there is an ending where I think she dies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a couple of...
is that the one where, like, you leave her behind on the boat, and then you take the girl from the family instead, I think? I think I saw a video on that.
Yeah, you can go a couple of different ways. I think there's also a Mia mission in there, too, where you play as her for a little bit. But
yeah, in one of the DLCs, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But at any rate, yeah, I think there's an ending where she doesn't make it, but obviously from a chronological canon standpoint, she does.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the character. I think people probably appreciate Ethan more after this story than they did with 7. Mm-hmm. And I think that there were enough people that probably were upset enough with Mia to have left her behind. I mean, she chopped off the dude's hand, for God's sake.
Right. Now, we had talked about this, but I'm kind of drawing a blank. Isn't this, as far as 7 and 8 go, they're set like in between 1 and 2, correct?
You know, we did talk about that, and I think if I remember correctly, 8 is just before the
is it 4? Is it Leon with 4?
No, hold on. So I still can't remember because it was before the game with Neckfield, old Chris, and it was the 2-player game where you were
5.
in like Africa.
That's 5. Yeah, that's 5.
Yeah, so I think it was like just before the events of 5, if I remember correctly.
Makes sense since Chris is in this one as well.
I actually like Chris. I don't know. I don't know if I think I prefer him over Leon. Leon's cool, but I think Chris is. I don't know. I like Chris.
I was more of a Jill fanboy, honestly.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I was just going.
I was going
general,
the game.
I was going masculine because I'm a toxic guy. Yeah, I don't know. Jill is good. I'll give her that.
And Chris's little sister isn't bad, although she's not on their level, obviously.
Yeah, do I like Jill or Chris? You know what? Honestly, I think Jill had a better story.
Yeah, everything with Nemesis was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I would
You're
have
literally always being stalked throughout the game, and it would change the
Yeah.
game so much, whether or not you'd run into him at certain points.
I feel like we've talked to this same conversation for like 3 weeks. We really need to
We
like just
have.
start a gaming podcast or something.
We're closeted Resident Evil fans. Like, part of us wants to say it sucks, but at the same time, we all like it.
Yeah. Well,
That convoluted, terrible story that we all somehow memorize for no reason.
Well, sort of, yeah. Yeah, for sure. But anyway, eventually the Lego game will come out, and then you can do your Lego kid stuff and have lots of fun with it.
You'll probably spend 5 minutes, and it'll be 5 minutes of bliss. Don't lie.
Oh, I mean,
get it.
I probably would play around with it. I don't think I would. I think that the game itself has a fun and simple mechanic. It's not
just hope it
amazing, but
kinda-
it's fun.
I hope they kind of dumb it down, which I know sounds weird, but like I played 7, Force Awakens, obviously, and I didn't like it.
Oh.
I did not like the mechanics of it at all. Like, I got through 2 maps, and I just couldn't stand it.
Well, I mean, I imagine did they say if it's a remaster or if it's just an upres?
I think they're actually changing things in it. I don't think it's an upres. No, I think like what we did with Phantom Menace in the original Lego game is going to be different than the stories we go through with this. I think there's going to be different
Interesting.
areas, and you'll still hit all the main plot points like you did in the first one, but it's going to be a little different.
So basically, unlike Nintendo does with any of its re-releases, then.
Yes, exactly.
Are you hearing this, Nintendo? Like, some crappy up-res of Mario 64 isn't exactly what the fans want. Like, just whatever. I still like 64. It's fun, but
Yeah.
that was garbage. That was a money grab. If I've ever. But hey,
Are you buying the Nintendo classics that they started releasing on Switch?
so I really haven't even turned on the Switch for a while. I mean, summer, and I kind of like to do other things. But when I got the Switch, they did have like an NES and an SNES like classic library thing, like app. So I did get into those because I think one of them had like Streets of Rage and some other stuff. I mean, it was really cool. There was a lot of Kirby, a couple of other old Nintendo games. So yes, but I really haven't perused the library recently. I don't even remember the last game I bought for the Switch.
I really don't have much for the Switch, honestly. I think I have like 6, 7 games, and half of them are super tiny, like, Stardew, like $15-ish games.
No, I'm probably there with you. I mean, I have Breath of the Wild, and I have Odyssey, and a few other what would have been larger titles, but Tetris 99.
Isn't that the one you can play multiplayer?
It's actually kind of fun for a
Is
couple rounds. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't really mess with the actual mechanic of like knocking other players out and stuff, but it's
Right.
kind of fun. So anyway, that's been our obligatory mini gaming podcast.
20-minute BS session.
within a Star Wars podcast. So how's your week been?
Not too bad. Finally started my vacation yesterday, so it's literally just a week of waiting for that. It's a bit of a blur.
What do you have, like a whole week of vacation or something?
Well, I'm taking the next 9 days off.
Oh, okay.
Lined it up with my weekends, obviously, so I get a nice long break. We're going to Put-in Bay tomorrow for a few days.
Nice.
Looking forward to that. Haven't been there for quite a while.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, terrible. It's been terrible.
Yeah, that's good.
Cry
That's
a
good.
lot to
Well.
myself.
That's okay.
No, man, it's been okay. Nothing out of the ordinary. Just typical summer stuff. Trying to, just be out of the house for the most part. Playing music and accumulating pedals and then selling pedals. And I actually, well, you saw the fuzz face that I got. I have
The
parts
ridiculously oversized pedal.
yeah, for sure. But I've got parts coming in for that I'm going to modify it with. So I'm toying with little circuits and stuff, which is kind of fun for me. Yeah, no, that's really about all. You know, we're hitting summer, so it's nice to be outside, and played some basketball this morning. You know, threatened to beat the neighbors.
Again.
Not in basketball, just with my fists. No,
I know.
No, yeah.
What if your neighbors listen to the podcast?
Nah, they totally don't.
That'd be pretty bad.
They're terrible people. No, not really. They're okay, but they have loud children.
Your location would be revealed.
Yeah. Yeah. Aside from that, you know, just trying to get some trips on the calendar. You know, backpacking and some short trips here and there. And yeah, we'll kind of see what all comes of that. But yeah, for now, not too bad.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't just get a month of rain to make up for our early spring drought. That would really suck now that we're ready to backpack.
Yeah, we probably, I mean, I know, you know, sometimes it gets busy and everything, but it would have been good to, because we had a pretty mild spring that was actually fairly nice and wasn't overly wet. But we're certainly seeing a bit more of a wet summer. Hey, but I love the green. The green's nice to see again. And before you know it, it's all gone. It's all gone. We're in
Dust
June.
in the wind.
We're in June now.
This year has flown.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So, yep, a lot of time left though, so you got to take advantage of it. But yeah, that's our lives in a nutshell. So hopefully you enjoyed the podcast. We'll see you next week.
And don't try and
Bad
find
Batch,
me
I
on
forgot.
Puddin' Bay and kill me. I would appreciate that.
Jeez. Yeah.
Here's my itinerary, exactly where I'm going to be.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know how you enjoy it now, as opposed to, like, you know, when we went up when we were younger, because I haven't been up there in a long time. And for those of you who don't know, you know, in Ohio we have a very small little tiny island in Lake Erie. Well, there's a few.
Only one worth going to. You got Kelly's, you got South Bass, North Bass, and I can't think of the fifth.
Yeah. So there's this island compilation up there, but Putin Bay it's a party island, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. With just enough kids attractions so the parents don't feel bad.
Yeah, no doubt.
Great.
And actually, coincidentally, now that I think about it, what you're going to have to do for me is I'm going to have to put a wine order in for.
Mom already has, so I'll be getting 2 crates at this point, I guess. That's
yeah,
fine.
I mean, I don't need a ton, but I they do ship, and their shipping is not unreasonable anymore. But I just haven't gotten any in a long time. But anyway, up on the island, there's a winery called Heinemann's. There's, you know, a strip of bars and restaurants, and there's live music and, you know, golf carts. You drive golf carts around the island.
Lots of golf carts.
Yeah,
Which are
actually, that's always
$70 a day now.
Yeah, it used to be a pretty cheap vacation spot where you get a room for like $100 a night, and, you know, a $30 golf cart for, you know, 3-4 days, and you know,
that would
food.
probably break down on you, and you'd have to switch it out because electric sucks.
I never had that problem, but yeah,
no, I
know
think
that
we
it
only had that
happens.
happen once or twice,
Yeah.
honestly.
But the food was what you spent your money on, really, and the drinks.
Boardwalk.
Right.
A lot of money spent at Boardwalk.
Yeah, but now everything's just expensive. But they do have highway patrol up there, usually on the 4th of July weekend. That's about it. But they have a police presence. They have a little school. They have like they had like a racetrack at one point. I don't know whatever happened with that. It's been a long time. They have a little airport. Mm-hmm. It's hilarious, and there are people that live up there year round.
It would be kind of cool to live there, I think, to an extent. I mean, you'd be super secluded, but
Well, with one market,
you'd have like a class of, well, I mean, a lot of people would
there.
have stuff shipped from like Walmart. I'm sure.
Well, you definitely have to head over to the mainland, probably keep like a P.O. box over there or something, or I don't know. I don't know how mail works up there. That'd be weird.
Yeah, I can't imagine they'd be flying it in, so they'd have to go somewhere to pick it up.
To be honest, I bet they probably do. I mean, you could run a truck up there, but anyway, that's neither.
That's true. You have the miller. There. You could just
yeah. But yeah,
have to have a few extra stamps to get your mail there.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, it's still technically considered Ohio. It's just ours out in the middle of Lake Erie, and also kind of the site of a semi-historical battle.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Old Perry.
Yeah, Commodore Perry, and I don't really remember the history of that, but there's a monument up there to it.
Yeah.
You know,
that's even how the island got its name. Actually, it's just one of his quotes during the battle.
Yeah. There were some minor, well, I don't want to say minor. There were skirmishes in the Great Lakes. Not a lot of people know that. They really don't, but there were. So anyway, Put-in Bay. If you ever want to go party and drive golf cart around, just don't do it while you're drunk because they will pull you over for that.
Yeah,
it is technically a vehicle.
Probably still less likely than a car, but yes, they will.
I'm going to be honest. Well, no, never mind. We're good. I don't want to
honestly.
I don't want to have my theories of Put-in Bay out there. It's fine. It's not a bad place though. It's a little expensive, but anyway. So, are you finally ready to get to some Star Wars content?
Where are we at? 26 and a half minutes. Yeah, I suppose.
All right. Well, let's start talking about Bad Batch then. So, again, episode 6, Decommissioned. Early thoughts, I have to say, I was like, finally.
Yes.
Finally.
Yeah. We've hit our stride. We're finally there.
Yeah. And, like, I understand that there are multiple episodes here, and it's not just supposed to be this cut and dry minor arc or anything. But also, it's kind of nice to have some sort of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And we just haven't had that to this point, and now we do. We have at least the formation of said purpose, and I am very happy about that.
Yeah, and I mean, we were kind of concerned because the setup for it just wasn't really there. I mean, it's pretty abrupt how they change it up on you, honestly. I mean, you have little things going on, but like even with the bounty hunting stuff, it's like, well, it sounds like that's not gonna. Oh, yeah, now it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciated this episode quite a bit. I thought it was pretty good. We got some cool cameos and.
Yeah, for sure. Just to start here, so Omega is going to go forward with this energy bow, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
We both talked about that.
It's pretty adorable, actually, watching her struggle to train with it.
Well, I'm going to be honest, like, and hopefully you remember this. I feel like you had, or we had, a toy like this. Like, it was one of those Nerf.
Yeah, we did.
Nerf bow, but I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong. I think there was one that was a straight bow, but I also felt that we had one that was collapsible like that.
I don't know if we had a collapsible one or not. I'm not sure.
I just know we played with the bows a lot. No, we'd shoot them.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're probably like 6-inch foam.
Yeah.
Dart things.
Like it didn't really shoot all that hard. It didn't hurt. You would think it would just by the size of the dart, but
it could be reasonably accurate.
Yes, compared to everything else. Yeah.
I it's funny. I'd completely forgotten about that, and I started watching her play around with this, and I was like, oh, yeah, we had something kind of like that back in the day. That's actually really cool.
I kind of hope this becomes a Nerf toy or something like completely identical to this. It'd be pretty sweet.
Well, it all depends. It depends on how much Disney really wants to push Bad Batch.
And have our Black Series character. She's got it. That'd be pretty sweet.
Oh, I could see that happening. I will say this one thing, though. Mandalorian. When you logged into Disney Plus, Mandalorian was always the first banner ad.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
You got to look for Bad Batch.
Bad Batch is a banner, but it's not the first one, and it hasn't been for the past couple weeks. So I'm starting to wonder about that a little bit, like their overall interest, just like, because even season 7 of Clone Wars, that was always the first banner. I mean, this is, I don't know, but hopefully we continue to like the series. But yeah, that's a great opportunity for a toy. Because I think you could put something together really easy and just use that old technology. It's like, here's Omega's bow. I don't know. Can we say Omega, or is it just Omega now?
I think it's got to be Omega.
I like the accent. I gotta say, I do think that they, and it could just be psychosomatic, but I think that they've, I don't know if it's a syncing thing or if it was just a recording, but I do feel like the voice fits the character a little bit more now.
The audio is getting way better. Yeah, I would agree.
I don't know what it was there, and again, it could just be in my head, but
Maybe it just took a while to get used to it. Who knows?
Possibly. I mean, like I said, I never disliked her. There was something off about that audio. But anyway, I do like this sort of premise of her with the bow. I think that that's really cool. I am a little concerned that her hair never grows. It's like nobody's hair ever grows, which
it's plastic hair. It's anime hair.
Anyway, so Sid, so Omega's training with this bow in the beginning, and she's not doing very good. And Sid kind of comes over, so they're still at Sid's little bar here, and she shoots off 3 quick shots. She's like, "You got noodle arms, kid. Lift some weights.
Work out.
Work out." So that was.
Do you even lift, bro?
Yeah, exactly. You're no swolo over here, but. So anyway, I think that's kind of funny. I'm glad that we're going forward with that. But the mission for this week is to retrieve a tactical droid, which we saw all through Clone Wars, and that's where they're sent, and we're pretty much right in the mission. And this is on. Wow, I just completely forgot the planet. Corellia. So they are going to Corellia for this droid, and I don't know. I can't really. There's not a whole lot of like crazy meat here. It's just kind of a story, but we do wind up meeting 2 past characters, Raph and Trace, from who we saw in season 7 of Clone Wars with Ahsoka. So, kind of got to think about time frames here, right?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that too. Is this before or after? I'm kind of thinking it's before, but it's kind of hard to follow what a timeline is.
See, I personally think that it's after, and I'll
Really
talk about that towards the end of what the end was. I could be wrong, but I feel like this might be after they met.
So you feel like that's who they were talking to at the end was Ahsoka?
No, I feel like they were talking to Bail Organa. I think that I think they might be part of the Resistance. However, they could be something else, and if it is before, then it could be something a little bit more nefarious, so to speak.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
However, I think we are naturally rolling to something that you have talked about with Wrecker, because I think we eventually have to meet up with Rex now. And I think that this connection, whoever it might be, and it could even be Rex, but whoever this connection is, I think will eventually probably lead them to Rex, because Wrecker hits his head for the 1,000th time, and he's starting to crack a little bit.
Yeah, he's even starting to say the mantra.
Yeah.
Not fully, but he's starting to. It is weird, though, because he's hearing Crosshair in his head. I found that very odd.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I mean, personally, I just think it's the mantra, but I don't know. I mean, we didn't really get a whole bunch about why the chips don't specifically work. It's just like, it's our mutations. Yeah, but it's still there.
So now you're starting to bring up the question. It's like, okay, well, first we thought it was just Crosshair because he wasn't as modified, or he was modified in a way that would lend itself to the chip. Now it's like, no, it's happening to everyone. So, I mean, this sets up a story where they're all going to just become mindless zombies if they don't find Rex. So obviously that's the direction we're going.
Yeah, I would have to assume that is definitely true. And I mean, I still don't. I'm still wondering about Echo, because with Echo, does he even have the chip anymore? Who knows? Who knows about that?
I'm starting to wonder if we'll get to the point where they all kind of start having these issues except for Echo, and Echo's the only one who's coherent enough, and he's the one that ends up looking for Rex.
Maybe, yeah, maybe so. But I do think we're going to run into some trouble with Echo, or with Wrecker, and it's only a matter of time, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the question is, how are we finding Rex? That's the only reason I really think we lead into potentially Echo contacting Ahsoka, because Ahsoka would really be the only one who knows where Rex would be. And even then, she wouldn't necessarily know.
Well, okay, so I'm just going off of specific context clues from other series, but in Rebels, Ahsoka was to point them to where Rex was hiding, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they parted ways, they didn't know where either was really going.
Mm-hmm.
The only way that I can think about there to make any sort of sense in my mind is that when Rex defects and goes his own way, maybe he tries to live normally, but I feel like if he doesn't join the Resistance, the rebellion with Bail, then I think he might be looking for clones, because the other thing too is when we meet Rex again in Rebels, he has 2 other clone buddies.
Mm-hmm. Who he's removed the chips from as well.
Yeah. So I'm starting to wonder if that's kind of like what Rex is sort of working towards, like maybe through the rebellion trying to reform clones or something of that nature. I think it comes down to Bail Organa, though. I mean, that's my personal opinion, and to be honest with you, I don't really think we need to see Ahsoka in this series. I think it's almost too easy of a scapegoat for too many pieces.
It certainly would be. I think one thing that'd be kind of cool to see, as kind of like a parallel to when we see Rex in Rebels, is at this point he's found more than 2. Maybe he's found his own little squadron, maybe even platoon worth of clones that he's removed the chips from, and maybe he starts a tiny form of a rebellion. It gets squashed, and him and the other 2 are the only survivors, and that's where we find them on Rebels after some big battle of some kind. I think that'd be kind of cool if he had that big of a part to play, and that would just lend itself to why he would be in contact with Bail. I think that'd be kind of cool if he was, recruiting clones for this rebellion.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know, man. I mean, realistically, so the year gap between Episode 3 and A New Hope was 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
No, 18. That was 18. I thought Luke was 18. Maybe he was 19.
Let me actually just look that up real quick. Okay, so you're not going to do it that way. I feel like I'm asking Jeeves over here. 19 years. So give or take a few months.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a good long while for Rex to kind of be out there doing stuff, before he kind of almost retires on the planet that they're on. So I don't know. I feel like Rex will come into the picture. I don't really see anyone else unless you don't intend on saving Wrecker. like you intend on him.
I couldn't really see that happening. I mean, we've talked about losing one of the members at some point. I just don't feel like there'd be a point in killing off Wrecker.
But I think that if they did, Wrecker would be the person that they would kill off.
I guess they are making him more likable in this than they were in, and maybe there are other people that thought Wrecker was awesome in the Clone Wars series, their little 4-episode thing. But I wasn't a big fan then, and I'm starting to like him more now. So I could see what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't know.
But to me, for some reason, I'm still leaning towards Echo or Tech more. I don't know why. I just feel like Echo would be the scapegoat. He'd be the one to kill
I could
off.
see that. I could see that too. But obviously, we will have to see as we go along. So anyway, just to progress a little bit more into the story, we are going after the tactical droid. We meet. Was it Rafa or it was Rafa, wasn't it? With an A at the end. Okay, and then Trace, and they are also out to steal this droid. That is basically all these droids are being disassembled. There's only one more of these tactical droids in this factory.
How convenient.
Yeah, and they don't even have to steal the entire droid. They only have to steal the head.
And in the end, they really didn't even have to do that.
Yeah, very true. So Omega does get to draw her little energy bow on Rafa, and they're all kind of, doing the whole talky stuff, and of course her little noodle arms don't really help her much, and she gets off a shot, but just sort of hits, I don't know, whatever the heck that was, to produce steam or whatever.
I think it'd be pretty entertaining if as Omega got older and her strength developed, she ends up with a bowcaster. Which I know is kind of rare for a person. Obviously, there's a lot of kickback with that, but I think that'd be kind of entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I like the manual aspect of this bow, but yeah, I could totally see that too. As we go through here, Trace does get the head, Omega gets trapped, and they have to help each other out, and
Wrecker gets shot.
Yeah, he does. he bumps his head and then gets shot, and he's not.
He's
having
literally
a very
the
good
only one
day.
who gets shot.
True.
Although he is an easier target. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Well, he was having some trouble then.
Yeah.
But Trace does, kind of save Omega there from being melted, which is good, I guess.
Admirable.
Yeah, admirable. This Star Wars does have a problem with like molten lava and metal and like not truly understanding how hot it is around that kind of stuff.
Right.
Whatever. Anyway, we have a large contingent of. They called them police droids, which I thought was funny.
Mm-hmm.
But these like security type droids. And kind of an interesting part here, they use the tactical droid to sort of reinitialize some of the battle droids that were in this plant, and they all still have their guns.
Yeah, they wouldn't take that away from them, obviously. Of course, B2s, that's kind of difficult to do, but B1s, you could have.
Yeah, well, right, yeah, B2s, I mean, they're obviously built into their arms, but, anyway, I guess they were deactivated, so no real big problem there. But, they kind of have it's kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
Just to see all that, go through in that manner. But they do wind up losing the head. It, sort of shot away. Omega gets some shots off with the bow. Apparently
Kind of hard to
she's
believe that Trace
realized-
didn't get shot there, honestly, when that happened.
Yeah, I know. It is what it is. But yeah, Omega's she found the strength inside,
Yeah. That's
to
not
make-
how lifting works, bro.
Well, the funniest
That's
thing
not
was
how
when
lifting works.
Well, when Sid was using the bow and she just 3 rapid shots, it's like, well, you know what? Honestly, yeah, that would be pretty easy because you're not even doing a full a full draw and you're not aiming.
Right.
At that point, you're just pop, pop, pop,
Yeah.
spray and pray.
So it's not about strength.
Who knows? Who knows? So they are able to escape and, board Rafa and Trace's little ship here. They finally got a ship
Yeah.
that they can fly.
It's not Trace's, but what was the name of that ship? Do you remember?
Oh, hell, I don't know. It was something kind of goofy.
Archangel or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was Afra's ship's name.
Was that Afra's?
I think that was Afra's ship's name. But anyway, Rafa does kind of, and this is why I think that this is after the Ahsoka arc. Well, one, because technically, there was still some ambiguity during that particular time, but at any rate, they, so they have this ship now, and it's a reasonable sized ship. They're reading the clones, the Riot Act. You know what I mean? About, you got to pick a side, bro.
Right.
And, you were going to give this to somebody you don't even know what they're doing with it, So I think that they're with the rebellion now, personally. And and then we kind of get the fly off sequence where we get the shoulder of someone being transmitted with a little capey cape. I don't know. I think it's Bale, but they didn't show him. No voice, no nothing, which I was a little surprised at. I mean, what's the secret? What's the big secret? But Rafa knows where to find them. So maybe it's Fennec Shand. Or maybe it's Rex. I don't know. That's a tough one. Who do you think it is? You had said Ahsoka in the beginning. You still think it's Ahsoka?
I think it would be between Ahsoka and Rex, personally. I don't really see why they would fall in line with Fennec.
No, I don't.
Especially,
think it's Fennec either.
especially. Oh, okay. You wasn't sure there.
No, that was a joke.
Okay. But yeah, I would say the Rex or Ahsoka. I'm not 100% sure. I get what you're saying, that it would kind of suck in a way to add Ahsoka to this, because it would just be, drowning everything out with more Ahsoka like every other show seems to do. But I would almost want to lean towards Rex, just because I think that would be a pretty cool setup.
Yeah, I guess my only thought is,
why?
Who would care? So Rafa she says, I thought you would want to know about clones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why honestly would Ahsoka care about rogue clones?
Yeah. But the question is, why would they run into Rex? That's what I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully get some explanation. If it ends up being that it's Rex, I would like to have a good flashback on how they met.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that all works out, but
Maybe it's Darth Maul. No.
we will be working much closer, you and I. Why'd you ignite your saber? Because it's super cool.
It's intimidating. You can't do anything to me. You're a hologram. Just shut up. Just shut up. I didn't think about it.
Well, we will see. But I guess just to sort of keep us moving, let's go ahead and do a quick rating on it. So we do show ratings. So out of 10, what do you got for it?
I really feel like I should have checked last week's rating. I know we say this all the time, but legitimately, I do like this more than the last episode. So I wish I could remember that, but I'd give it I'll give it an 8.6. I did like this quite a bit. It was a very good episode, even though it was just more of a story than anything big happening. I like how they implemented the sisters, and I like where we're going with Wrecker. It really sets up some urgency for the entire squad, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah, I liked it too. I definitely think having more of a grounded kind of like direction feels good, and Yeah. Yeah, I like energy bows. Those are cool too. Little cameo was neat. So yeah, no, it was good, and I think it sets up a lot of other things there. I'll say 8.5. I think it's a good solid episode. I feel like at least I hope that the feeling proves correct, but I do feel like we're going to start having more enjoyment over the next couple weeks.
I'm more hopeful. I'm actually looking forward to the show now, unlike before. I mean, I won't lie. It was a bit of a slog the first few episodes.
Yeah, for sure. So, there we go. It only took us 6 episodes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it took 4 for us to even slightly care about these characters with Clone Wars, so par for course.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, you ready to talk some comics?
Is.
Well, now apparently I can't do it because I don't speak in terrible language.
That's just Ohio for you.
That's
how we speak here.
That's not how anybody speaks. So, yeah, let's jump into High Republic, which apparently my copy must have gotten a little bit of water in it.
No.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the pages just has some weird spots on it, so I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. Terrible stuff.
I have a new name for Skier. It is now Greer because he is Groot Skier.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is such a goofy cover. Which is weird because, like, 5 I thought was an amazing cover because of the brush strokes and everything. How they did Kyiv was awesome. But this one's just goofy. Kind of anime.
Yeah. It's okay. I actually think 5's cover is probably one of the most meh I've seen in a while.
Really?
Yeah. So, anyway.
You're just not a fan of art.
No. I have more discerning tastes, okay? I am a man of many parts.
This right here is straight up a happy little tree. It's amazing. It's great. That's some Bob Ross stuff right there.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, the trees are controlling Skier, and we get
happy little trees.
Yeah. Well, we get another flashback to Skier throwing Kyiv off of the side of a mountain. Nah, she jumps.
How old is Kyiv? Because even like 6 years ago, she looks older as a Padawan. Like, I don't think we ever get that, do we?
Yeah, that is an interesting thought. Because
I imagine around, like, we'll say 18, 19, just kind of guess, but yeah,
sure. Yeah, she doesn't look crazy young. 6 years ago. Which, if let's say she's 18, for the sake of argument,
she's 12.
12, and she definitely looks older than that. So maybe she's older.
Is that
Not
shaved head? It's just that shaved head.
Yeah, she kept that same style forever, huh? Do you keep the same hairstyle forever? Oh, never mind.
Yeah. Skier does too. I mean, look at him.
Yeah, true. Well, anyway, she still can't do the jumping off of cliff saving herself thing, which is too bad. I mean, Kylo did it, but it is what it is. Yeah. So we return back to our kind of cave here, where Var, Chris, and the twins and the little kid and Kyiv are all being rooted. They're being rooted by the Drengir, and Skier is sort of under their power, I guess. This first double page panel, I feel like they really, I don't know, doesn't look great.
It's kind of dumb.
Well, like Avar, she's just white.
Yeah.
I mean, she's literally just all white.
Like they literally, she's just like the twin.
Yeah, is that what happens when you get rooted? You just turn like crazy white or something?
Well, no, because the kid's got a darker complexion still, and Kyiv does too. So I mean, like, what's going on?
Yeah, I guess. Well, They kind of run through a little bit more Drengir backstory, which we already got in the books, but, being trapped by the Sith with the idols, people with roots coming out of their mouths and nose. I'm sure some people love that.
Yeah.
And then kind of, a little bit of Skier sort of fighting back a little bit, but we do a little bit of jumping because we learn that the hut that was brought to Starlight Beacon has also been infected with this Drengir root system. And then, apparently one of these things, multiplies a bunch and, is, taking over the station. I didn't get that. There's one, right? In this hut, but, all of a sudden they can't deal with it.
How many lightsaber wielders does it take to kill one of these? It wasn't even a big one.
Yeah, but this was in the book. I mean, just cutting them doesn't really kill them, right?
True.
But I don't know.
But they're not even really doing anything in these panels. They're just kind of jumping around, lightsaber out, anime style, and not actually attacking it.
Yeah, true. Well, Keeve does, try and communicate with Skier. He's kind of coming back, and then they get the rubber nose in the hose. Or the rubber hose in the nose. That's backwards. What a panel there. Feed. Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody's been watching a little too much of the other stuff. The other anime.
Yeah.
And you know what? Some of this stuff with Skier is a little bit nonsensical to me, and maybe you made more, or hopefully you made more out of this than I did. But we get that he's super, super sad, but he's like, I had to do this to find their true nature and find their weakness, but they're taking me over. It's
but then right after that, a few panels later, he's like, it wasn't because of that. It's because I cut myself off from the Force. But actually, no, the Force is fading away from me. I'm losing my connection.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit more in the next book, but we'll talk about that for sure. But yeah, he just seems like he's really confused, and we're starting to overly anime again. I feel like there's, it's not a bad panel.
Are you referring to our jump into action?
Yeah, Keeve's doing sort of like a handstand kick, and Skier's doing a jumpy ball roll, and the twin.
Avar's looking awesome.
Well, yeah, she's pretty cool, but then the twin's I don't have a saber, so I'm just gonna go in like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Well, just to kind of move through a little bit here, we do wind up figuring out that this one, what was his name? Cal, I think.
Yeah.
He had made a deal with the Hutts for this planet. They give grain, and then the Hutts protect them in quotations. So then all of a sudden the Hutts show up. Well, we don't know that from this comic. It's actually in the next comic, but we get a ship that shows up, right? And then we move to the next issue.
Right. And that ship is stupid. I'm sorry.
It's a stupid ship. But it winds up being the Hutts. And one of the twins gets stepped on.
But it doesn't actually kill him. But that's kind of jumping ahead, I guess.
Sure. No, we're there. What was this? Mayarga, the Benevolent.
Mm-hmm.
And Skier kind of goes insane and just starts attacking everybody.
And this is where Keeve's like, I've lost my master. He's just not the same.
Well, we know he's a tree person now because his speech bubble went from white to black. So he's clearly not himself.
By the way, how would you like to transport a Rancor in a ship?
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
You just feel like you'd see this ship just kind of wobbling back and forth as it's coming in because the Rancor's like jumping up and down, angry that it's in a ship or something.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know. Anyway,
We literally have 1 million mercs come out of this ship.
Yeah, the Hutts have quite a force, and then back on Starlight Beacon, Vernestra's here. She's doing some cool stuff with her whip.
Mm-hmm.
Her poor Padawan, he gets impaled a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit though. He's okay.
Poor dude. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really care for this one all that much. If I'm just
and then you get to the most stupid part with the twins. Like apparently, the twins can just hold a Rancor's mouth open.
Right.
And like, where'd the other brother find his lightsaber? I don't remember him finding it and taking it.
Listen, all I know is that, and we will never be separated again for light and life.
Yeah. Wouldn't this kind of go against the teachings of the Jedi being so attached to one person? Like, I understand they have a mind meld to an extent, but like, it just feels like the council would have an issue.
All right, man. If you want to be on the Jedi Council, you can be, but you can't spout any of that gray stuff. You just can't. Only the teachings of the. Listen, I don't know how that works. I mean, it seems like their particular species is more symbiotically drawn than anything else.
Yeah.
So, I think they're like more like one person. I'm not sure. It does sort of seem like it would be
split embryo.
Yeah.
I
Well, it does
just
kind of
don't
seem
like
like it would
I think
be a
they're
bit of
kinda
a
creepy.
contradiction, though. They are
Yeah.
creepy. I'm not a big fan of them. Keeve chops off Skier's plant hand. Well, at least a little bit of it.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. And maybe I'm just trying to make too much sense out of this, but why is she just now putting the other half of her saber together? Like she's in battle.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly her lightsaber is detachable. Like you can detach the two halves.
Yeah, is this the first time we find this out? I think it is.
I think it is. And now all of a sudden, in
but
the
like,
middle
it's
of a battle,
disproportionate, kind of, when you think about it, because like she's got 2 full-size lightsabers, and that would just be ridiculously massive when you attach them, and it's not. Like, I just thought that was kind of weird.
yeah,
Totally
I don't know.
overthinking it, I know.
Well, it just sort of seems weird that like she's fighting, and then all of a sudden, it's like just before she chops off her master's arm, it's like, well, I'm just gonna use 2 blades.
Yeah.
Because 2 blades
like,
are
how-
better than 1. Norelco.
And how are we dealing with all these mercs? Again, it's like it's a freaking army.
Yeah.
Is Avar just completely deflecting everything herself, just fighting everybody off?
Well, there is a panel where she doesn't even have her hand on her saber and she's doing the spinning maneuvers. So yes,
right.
yes, she clearly is taking on every single person.
I mean, I could see it happening. Avar's awesome, but still.
Well, listen, I'm interested in wrapping this up, to be honest with you, because like I didn't really find this as interesting personally. But basically, the idea is that Skier has is, you need to like do like a force projection through me to the trees to make them make it seem like the meat is spoiled. And then Skier has some like a green nosebleed going on. He's not liking that. And then all the Dren gear just kind of run away because he thinks that their food is unclean.
Stupid. It
And
just
they
makes
all-
the Dren gear look so stupid.
Yeah. Well, Skier dies, I guess, maybe.
I don't know. Kind of up in the air a bit.
Yeah, would you be sad, though?
I don't know. Like, they try to use these flashbacks to make him out to seem like a way better master than he really is.
I mean, he could be a good master.
And yes, he could be. I mean, we don't have a lot about him, even in the book. We just got tidbits of Skier, honestly. So he might be awesome, but I just don't like how they're portraying him in the comics. So I'm not a big fan so far of him.
Yeah.
But what I am a big fan of is the panel for the next issue where we've got a Jedi riding a Rancor. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I don't know. I mean, is this the massive threat that we were kind of promised? Like the Drengir or the massive threat?
Well, they made him out to be at the beginning of this comic with like just straight up saying like, hey, we have this happening on thousands of planets and there's a ton of people dying right now. But then they just kind of, they end it so quickly.
How did they
With one
get on
stupid-
thousands of planets?
Bunch of people like Skier, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so they say. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think it'll be more revealed in the next book. You know,
Yeah, I
if
would
this
agree.
is supposed to if this is what's going to be the major threat. Just not sure, man. Tree people.
Why are we introducing two potentially big threats at once with the Nihil and the Drengir? I don't get the point of this so early on in the series.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Man.
It would be like if we had Yuz and Vong to deal with and then like that weird hive mind race that Luke had to deal with. I can't think of which series it was,
Yeah.
but like if you introduce them both at the same time, like it just seems like, are you setting them up to fight each other? Like, what are you doing?
True.
Are the Nihil going to be completely decimated by the Drengir and be taken over, and then the Drengir will have control of the path engines and everything? Like, what's going to happen?
Well, I mean, the thing is like, so we obviously had an Afra where the Nihil were kind of like materializing in random places. So I actually don't think that the Drengir are going to be all that big of a thing. I think this is going to be more of a Nihil deal. But I could be wrong.
But it's just the potential of the Drengir is so much greater, and they're just kind of like they're setting these up to be amazingly powerful creatures, then nerfing them all at once. I just don't get the point of that.
How do you kill a plant? You burn
Fire.
it. You
Obviously, you
poison
can't
it.
choke it. You can't choke it out with lack of sunlight with these ones.
Throw some bleach on it. Throw some gasoline on it. How can I be sadistic towards a plant today?
Everyone gets a lightsaber weed whacker.
Anyway, I don't know. The last thing here, though, that I think is a talking point: Skier losing sort of his connection to the Force.
And kind of leaning towards it being caused by his injury during the Nihil attack.
I don't think it is. Like, I'm wondering if this is like the start of what happens, hundreds of years later. Well, or more like 12 years by the time we actually officially talk about the real timeline. But I mean, it was 400 years beforehand. Now it's like whatever it is now.
What if it ends up being a thing where all the Jedi start losing their connection?
Well, I don't know. I think I guess that could be. I mean, that'd be a bigger disaster than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, obviously, they would have regained it because the Jedi, even of the more current time, had access to the Force. It just was diminished. So my thought is like, is this just a symptom of a much larger problem? And they just don't know it at that point. or is it something different? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that exactly works out. But I almost would be more interested in that than the Drengir.
Mm-hmm. The Drengir just seems kind of like, I don't know, I feel like we've dealt with this before. It's just not really all that new and interesting to me.
Yeah. Well, you can only have so many massive problems. And I feel like losing the connection to the Force without any discernible reason why is a much bigger problem than the Nihil or the Drengir.
Well,
because the Force is their power. It's their confidence.
And then that does actually make the Nihil seem a lot more terrifying.
Sure.
When you're pitted up against them, because, I mean, anybody would be. The Hutts would be terrifying. And honestly, a war with the Hutts would be more interesting than the Nihil at this point.
Yeah.
I hate to say that. The Hutts are so overused, but, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Let me propose a theory here. What if, because we don't see the talent basically ever again aside from once, what if Avar's sort of like messing with this whole song that she perceives is a problem? Because that
You think
actually
the Force
seems like...
isn't okay with it?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, it sort of seems like it's messing with... It could potentially like mess with the balance, because you're like, it's not just directing people. Like, it's a connection. It's like a power transference in a way, too. Because, like, we had heard about, you know, Stellan Geo sending his power to Avar, even though he was...
many systems away.
Yeah, he was a great distance away. So, kind of wonder if this is almost like unnatural in a way.
Well, it would be, because think about it. If you have, just say, a one-on-one duel between a Sith and a Jedi, and every Jedi was able to lend their power to that one Jedi dueling, I mean, you'd be talking about a great imbalance in the Force, which, again, the Force doesn't choose one side over the other. It would want both sides to be equal. Mm-hmm. So it would be... I mean, this would be a travesty to the Force. They would want to deal with it. That's why I kind of think it'd be kind of cool if they started introducing this thing where they're being cut off, they're being diminished. I mean, it's something, again, we've seen in the prequel era. Even Yoda, with all of his strength, was diminished in the Force. He couldn't see. There was a fog around him. And his connection was being severed in a way.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Well, I mean, we could also have some interference as well from other forces, but I feel like we're layering too much. You know, being beset on all sides does not necessarily make a good story. Mm-hmm. At least in my opinion.
No, because dealing with being severed from the Force and then dealing with the Nihil and Drengir is just going to be a hot mess.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
That's where you stop getting character development, because I feel like you'd be focusing too much on all the problems and not the people.
Well, we've introduced so many characters as it is.
Yeah, character development is going to be really difficult unless you give, like, I mean, like, Skier getting this comic book series really isn't giving him a ton of character development, to be quite honest.
Well, and even just throwing, like, Vernestra in there, it's like, what does that do?
Yeah,
I know who she is, but I also read the book.
Right. And if you didn't read the book, it doesn't matter that she's there, honestly. Like, she's going to be a throwaway character. And her apprentice.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man.
I feel like they're just trying to throw everybody into everything, and it's... I don't know. It becomes a mess. Like, you think about prequel era, if you had every time you read anything, you'd have Mace Windu or Yoda in there. It's like, they didn't need to be there. It's kind of like that with this.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, I think we were really excited for High Republic. I don't know if my excitement has necessarily kept up.
Yeah.
With the stories I've been fed.
And I didn't necessarily come in with high expectations or an agenda either, which kind of just, it makes it worse that I'm not excited anymore.
Well, see, the thing is I think I did because, I mean, look at the panel of writers. I mean, they all pretty much got in a room and just decided how this was going to go. I mean, they're massive writers in here, so...
Well, I had high hopes because of the writers, but I didn't have a direction I wanted to see it go or anything like that. I was perfectly okay with this being a huge surprise, not knowing what direction to go, but right now I'm just not liking it.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I guess you could make the argument this happens with every new iteration in Star Wars, whether it be the prequels, the sequels, anything. Yes, at first there's going to be a lot of people who just don't like the change, but I don't see the point yet.
Well, I mean, the bigger thing here is like, I mean, I think I enjoyed the books. I won't speak for you. I think we both. I mean, the first book got a little preachy with its overdoing, re-explaining every couple paragraphs. Yeah. The second book was fine. I mean, it was a decent book.
Even the young adults books have been pretty decent.
Yeah, the young adults books have
Vernestra was pretty cool.
Yeah, they have a nice, simple story.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe
my problem is more with the comics, trying to tell a big story in such a small. I mean, we're on 5 issues,
right?
And in 5 issues, we've supposedly introduced a big baddie that is bigger than the big baddie from the first book that came out.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Here's hoping that they can continue to pick it up, but I mean, as with anything, man, it's difficult. Yeah. It's really difficult. I don't know what you do. We should just all give up. Cry.
Done with Star Wars. Just done.
I'm done with Star Wars.
I'm about to become a gatekeeper.
You're kidding. I'll tell you what's canon. Gosh.
4, 5, 6, and we're done.
Jeez. Yeah, that would be extreme.
That's gatekeeping.
That is 100% gatekeeping. Something we absolutely try our best not to do.
That'd be kind of sad to be that like strict about it, like that dead set against anything else being part of Star Wars. You miss out on so much.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. Well, that's comics and Bad Batch. Anything else we got to talk about?
No, it feels like a super small amount of content for the amount of time, but we're at like an hour 18. It's a pretty short episode.
Yeah, a little bit shorter than what it's been. I'm sure people are probably cheering. It's like, let's wrap this up, boys. But
they looked at the timestamp, like, what they talk about, like one comic.
Well, we have been shoving a lot into these episodes for sure. Well, but
God, it's usually like 3-4 comics in an episode, or a book and a comic, and
God, that Thrawn episode, that was
cool.
That was a long boy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, next week, of course, we're getting back into Bad Batch, but we will be getting into the War of the Bounty Hunters finally.
Yes.
With the Star Wars main comic, issue 13, and then Bounty Hunters 12. And then the following week, we'll be hitting again another Bad Batch, and then Vader 12 and Afra 10. So this is like the first push into the War of the Bounty Hunters, I believe, if I remember that correctly.
Yeah, after that, I think we're actually ready to start issue 1, I believe.
Yeah, there's some like preludes and stuff.
Yeah.
Just do it. Anyway, so that should be...
I just got that there's a big reveal of a character in War of the Bounty Hunters. I just got that spoiled for me today. I'm a little annoyed because I know I have a few weeks before we can mess with it, but...
Oh, you poor guy.
That's what you get for using Google. Reading those article headlines.
That is what you get for Googling. You should be ashamed of yourself. Ashamed of yourself. All right. Have we yacked enough? Are we good? Got any final parting thoughts?
My only final parting thought, and it's super obscure, and not a big deal at all. I just find it
Fantastic.
funny. This is something I've noticed in the past few comics we've done. Why are we using the same generic, like, oh, I'm holding a dead person for drama effect? Like we had it in Afra, on the last Afra, and now we have it in
That's true, yeah.
5. I just think that's kind of weird.
Oh man, like why do you have to question stuff? Like,
I don't know, because that kind of is the point of, well, half of the point of this podcast is to actually analyze stuff.
why do you have to hate everything that's given to you?
I didn't say I hated it. I just find it kind of funny that we're being repetitive.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I don't know. I'll be honest. I've been a little. I've been a little.
Are you starting to realize why we didn't grow up with comics?
Yeah, well, yeah. And I just don't want to be like a FUD about it, but I do feel a little bit taken aback by recent comics, like recent directions, because I mean, there was a great Vader series before this current series. The Star Wars main comic has been fine.
It has been the best out of everything, with
Yeah.
Afra being a close second, I would say.
Yeah, which I mean, who would have thought that? Afra?
After the audio drama, I wasn't looking forward to Afra at all.
I've actually really enjoyed the story, but like Bounty Hunters is kind of low tier.
It's not my
and-
thing.
Yeah,
And Vader's been a disappointment.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess it's not all comics. Just a couple of these. We just I don't know. We just need to get into more positive stuff, I guess.
You know, something I'd like to eventually do, maybe in like a offshoot episode, not necessarily for this podcast, but there's a comic series I'd like us to go through. It is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic series that's just recently come out.
I got it. I got the
Ronin,
issue.
The Last Ronin.
I
Yeah.
spotted it. I didn't know anything about it, but the cover was so cool. They had like 5 different covers, dude. Did you want that?
Oh,
or do
really?
you have it?
I don't have it. A buddy let me borrow it for a bit, but no, I don't have it.
Do you want me to buy those for you now too?
Sure. I'd love to go through that in the show. I would love it. I know it's not Star Wars, but the premise of it is freaking awesome.
Okay. Well, we'll
And
talk.
super depressing at the same time.
Yeah, we'll talk about it a little later. But yeah, I noticed that one on the rack, and they had 4 covers. I don't remember which one I bought. I think I bought the one with Raffi on it, like Raphael.
yeah.
They had one with like a katana, and what was the mask guy's name?
Shredder.
No. The hockey guy.
Is it Johnny?
Gosh, I don't want to look this up. This isn't even Star Wars.
This is embarrassing.
Hockey
We should know this.
guy. This is like Casey Jones. So
Ah,
it was like
Casey.
a katana with Casey Jones's mask hanging off of it, and then there was one that was just Raphael's weapon, like cutting through this like sort of like red field, and then there was another one that I don't remember. Like I said, they were all really cool. I had a hard time choosing, but yeah, that looked really cool. I did like.
I wonder how many issues that is. I wonder if that's going to be a big, massive thing or just a little slice o turtles.
Slice of turtles? What do you want? Some
Slice-
turtle soup now? You sicko! You sick maniac!
Hey, that might be a part of one of the comics.
You sick maniac! Yeah, that's. I don't know. I'll have to look this up more. I literally just saw it as like I will look this up, but I haven't done it yet, and now I will. Is this IWD or IDW? It is. It's IDW. So actually, this was the 3rd issue of this comic line.
The one with the 5 cover options that you got.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, the one I got was like Rafi like charging into a bunch of ninjas. It was a
The
sick cover.
first one's pretty sweet because you see Michelangelo with all of the weapons, like walking
Yeah.
into the. I just want to say he's walking down an alley or something. I
Yeah,
can't remember now.
I see that cover now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into it. Like I said, I didn't know anything about it, but then all of a sudden I saw that cover and I was like, well, that's sick.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to probably buy some back issues, and then if that comes out, I might have to pull it. I don't know. I mean, I know about IWD. I never really paid much attention to their releases, though. So anyway, well, there we go, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We'll quit rambling. Looks like we have to talk some more after the show anyway, but so we'll leave that to ourselves. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. Please be sure to follow us on all the social media at TC Plan Podcast. You pretty much find us anywhere: Facebook, Twitter, or if you'd like to send us just a message or whatever. You give us a theory. What are you thinking about the comics? What are you thinking about the show? Just send that in to tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. And all this stuff is down in the show notes too, if you can't understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. So anyway, again, hopefully you enjoy, and you guys have a great rest of your week.
And as always, may the Force be with you.